I still remain long-term very bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think we see the craziness that we saw back in, 2021 or in 2017 yet. There is a little buzz out there with the spot ETF, dollar starting to drop. That kick-started gold. Gold is having a huge move. It looks to me like it's borderline breakout. We know Bitcoin's had a big move recently, but that's really just a summary of what we're seeing today.
Wait a minute, everyone. Welcome to Bitcoinzilla, your platform for daily cryptocurrency analysis and news. Our mission is to keep it simple. Bitcoinzilla offers engaging information that is easy to understand. Our analysts keep their eyes on the latest news to provide valuable insights via email. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Join our community of 10,000 subscribers and experience the new edge with Bitcoinzilla. Subscribe now. In this video, Gareth will share his insights on how does he view the recent interest in Bitcoin and the spot ETF? Why does he believe the market hasn't reached previous frenzied levels? What's his analysis of the Bitcoin chart, and what key factors make him bullish, including underinvestment, limited supply, and the upcoming halving? Let's join Gareth in this interview about these topics and more.
There is a little buzz out there with the spot ETF, and I was just talking to a couple traders in the office. They've had people contact them that have never invested before saying, hey, should I get into Bitcoin again? So you're starting to see that spread a little bit more, but you're right. I don't think we see the craziness that we saw back in 2021 or in 2017 yet. Now that's a positive, because once you see that absolute insanity permeate every investor, it's usually closer to the top. Having said that, again, after what we've seen, and we can see the chart very clearly here, we've had this big move up here. We did come into a little resistance. I still remain long-term very bullish on Bitcoin. I think, again, as a store of value, it will eventually migrate to that. Right now, it's a risk asset. And I think that's, if you're looking for the bull case, the bull case is still very overall in the world underinvested. 21 million max supply. These type of things are the key bullish things. We have the halving coming up as well. The bearish side of it would just be more in the short term, which is that risk assets have gone nuts to the upside. Stocks like Nvidia and Microsoft. I mean, so many of these names that were not even close to $1 trillion a few years ago are now north of $1 trillion, if not $2 or $3 trillion, right? So you've had this major risk on environment, and that I think has also benefited cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as well. So my biggest fear for Bitcoin, and this is the only bear case that there is that you will have some sort of correction at some point. And the question is, how much does Bitcoin get driven down? But if we zoom out on this chart, we can see again, you go back to this low down here. I mean, we were trading at 15,000 and change, and it just continued to kind of grind higher. And then you're getting a more accelerated move here, which again, usually comes at the end of moves. Now, again, please understand, everyone watching, end of move doesn't mean, hey, it's over. It just means it might need to pause or pull back here in the shorter term before gathering momentum to push up through. So again, amazing move. Again, notice where we just stalled out. The 2021 high pivot. In fact, I think we had an interview back here when this was at 65,000, and I said, hey, it's going to drop to 30,000 because of a head and shoulder pattern, and it dropped to 30,000 within a week. I remember you had me back on. Then we went up to 69. So you basically have your two levels of resistance here, 65 and 69,000. Watch those in the coming weeks.
Bitcoin's valuation surged past the $1 trillion mark, significantly increasing the net worth of its elusive creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, by nearly $9 billion in 2 months. Morgan Chase analysts have identified the Bitcoin halving event and an upcoming major Ethereum network upgrade as key drivers of cryptocurrency prices. Veteran trader Peter Brand has revised his Bitcoin price prediction for the current bull market cycle to $200,000, up from $120,000. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele remains committed to holding onto the country's Bitcoin investments, highlighting the potential for a significant profit, but emphasizing the intrinsic value of Bitcoin.
Since those CPI and PPI numbers, the market started to get a little nervous, right? But what we saw was that yesterday the PCE data came out, that calmed nerves, the markets rallied, and today we just got the ISM data out, which came in weaker than expected as well. And again, a lot of people out there probably like, wow, weaker data not as good, but weaker data means the Fed may be printing or lowering rates sooner. So bad news is good news. That's the environment we're in, especially if the PCE data is the one we're going to go by, which is telling us inflation is still kind of sticking around this 3% level. So what we saw today is the dollar starting to drop. That kick-started gold. Gold is having a huge move. It looks to me like it's borderline breakout. We know Bitcoin's had a big move recently, but that's really just a summary of what we're seeing today.
U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says Bitcoin is the off-ramp from central banks' money printing machine, emphasizing that Bitcoin is a hard currency. He stressed the importance of making the cryptocurrency available to the American public. Transactional freedom is as important as freedom of speech, and you only get that from Bitcoin, he explained. G. Morgan has cautioned investors that the price of Bitcoin could fall to $42,000 after the halving event in April. The global investment bank's analysts explain that $42,000 is the level they envisage Bitcoin prices drifting towards once Bitcoin halving-induced euphoria subsides after April. The bank also recently stated that the Bitcoin halving and the next major Ethereum upgrade are largely priced in.
Yeah, I said, so that's going to be the key. There's a lot of resistance at 65 to 69. So, if you look at the shorter term, this move right here that we just saw over the last 5 days, this 3-day bar surge on the daily chart, that was the easy move. There wasn't any major pivot top in this range. Now you're getting to points where people remember. People have this memory, right? And it's programmed in them, the scariness of, oh my goodness, I bought at 65 and it dropped to 30. Then I rebought when it got up to 69 and it dropped to 15. And that generally will cause a small group to sell. The question is it big enough to offset the new money that's coming into the ETFs, right? The spot ETFs continue to see inflows. The one thing I will point out, a lot of crypto people, they don't understand as much the market environment, meaning that while there's a lot of inflows into spot ETFs right now, it goes both ways, right? If people get scared, and this is again going back to that case of the stock market, and by the way, let's bring up the S&P 500 here. If we take a look at this, the S&P stuck in this very, very tight and tightening wedge pattern. So let's just say we break to the downside and it starts a bigger sell-off. What happens then? Do people start pulling money out of the Bitcoin ETFs, and then do the Bitcoin ETFs have to sell Bitcoin? Right now, it's all buys pretty much, give or take. But again, people just have to understand it goes both ways, at least in the short term. I think longer term, Bitcoin, that store of value, digital gold, it's awesome. But again, I do worry about that stock market correction influencing Bitcoin.
Veteran trader and renowned chartist Peter Brandt has doubled down on his bullish outlook for Bitcoin. After raising his Bitcoin price target for this bull market cycle to $200,000, Brandt pointed to huge monthly bars on his Bitcoin price chart, stating, "My bet is that this is a starting candle." If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.